Hi, I'm Shen, and welcome to my channel where I talk about anything, including today's topic, Yumeiro Patissiere. So, why am I talking about Yumeiro Patissiere, you might ask? Well, that's because I saw a video about Kitchen Princess, which just reminded me of another classic old school shoujo about food that I really liked as a kid, which was Yumeiro Patissiere. And even though it is a manga as well. I really remember the anime the most, and that made me want to just rewatch the whole show. And I thought, well, if I'm going to rewatch the whole show, what if this time I actually did rankings of the desserts in it? And I feel like this is also good because I've been working on a Saltburn video, and it's just been going nowhere, but I want to get those creative juices ew flowing. So I think that this would be fun for me, and that this would also just be a fun thing in general to do. For Yumeiro Patissiere, if you don't know what it's about a girl named Ichigo who gets enrolled in a fancy boarding school that is also a training ground for future patissiers. Patissiers, yeah. Yeah, patissiers are the people that make the pastries. Patisseries are the places where you buy those pastries, yes. Um, in any case, she gets enrolled into this school, and her skills are absolute garbage at first. With the help of her fellow group mates, three boys, and with the help of some magic, she begins to grow her skills and also her sense of taste and profession. That makes no sense. Okay. To get into this, I am going to be doing episodes 1 to 5 today. And the first criteria we have to go over is what desserts count. So I only really have one kind of criteria for this, and it's that they need to have significance to the story. So if it's a random dessert showing up, that's not going to be part of the ranking. More than one criteria, actually. So it also has to be a dessert. Savory foods do not count. It can be a savory dessert, but again, has to be some kind of dessert. I will also not be counting casual mistakes that characters make. So, for example, if they're submitting something for a competition round, because this anime actually has a tournament equivalent, then that will count. But if it's just something that they make as a practice thing, or they mess up, which happens a lot with Ichigo, then that's not going to count. So, how am I ranking these desserts? I will be using four criteria for this. Each one is worth 1 point, but I can give half a point if I want. And also, I can give more than 1 point. If I think that they really blew me out of the water in this one thing, then I will give them up to 2 points. The criteria: 1. Appearance. We eat with our eyes first, and if it's a dessert that doesn't make me go, I want that, give me that dessert, it's not doing the job. 2. Flavors. Sadly, I cannot actually taste through the screen since Mr. Willy Wonka is behind on that technology, but I can still judge the flavors and examine how I think it would taste. Obviously, I have my personal preferences, and I'm gonna try and be as impartial as I can, but it's gonna slip in there now and then. 3. If it's for an assignment, does it fit to that assignment? How much does it fit? If there is no assignment, the dessert automatically gets the point. 4. Originality. Are there aspects of this dessert that I've seen done before, whether in real life or in other anime or manga? And if so, did they do it well? Obviously, I'm coming into this with a 2024 lens, so I'm judging from that, and this is a looser category. 5. This is a surprise criteria. This is not actually something I will count points towards, but just for funsies, how much would I pay for this dessert? Who am I to judge this show? And what is my resume? Well, I eat food and I like desserts. Okay, so without further ado, let's go. Episode 1: The OG Grandma Strawberry Tart. So, for the appearance, I think this is a beautiful dessert, and it looks elegant without looking overwhelmingly fancy and over decorated. 1 point. 2. I'm not a fan of tarts, but strawberry tarts are a classic, and I think this would taste like a good classic strawberry tart. 1 point. 3. 1 point. Not an assignment. 4. I still haven't seen a real life strawberry tart that uses strawberries like that. and no fictional one looks as pretty that I've seen so far. I don't think there's anything else that's original about the dessert though, so I'm going to have to give this zero point 0.5 points. Or half a point. I should just say half a point. Yeah, half a point. So 5. I would pay maybe $6-7 for this. I feel like that's the average amount for a tart that size, and it's not going wild on the strawberries, sadly, which are my favorite part, so I'm not inclined to spend more than that. The cake that made Ichigo meet Henry for the first time. 1. It looks like a typical chocolate cake. If I saw that cake at a buffet, I'd probably skip over it. Half a point. 2. I also feel that it would taste like a typical chocolate cake, but Ichigo does like it, so it has to count for something. Half a point. 3. 1 point, not an assignment. 4. 0 points because it looks like a typical chocolate cake I'd see in real life, and there's nothing especially interesting about the way it looks or its flavors. I'm realizing that I'm actually not a big fan of chocolate cakes with this. 5. I'd probably pay $5. I don't know, man. It honestly just looks like it would be kind of dry. The first love cake. 1. I think this cake looks really cute. The wings on it and the way the outside layer is shaped makes it adorable. The strawberry on top is just the cherry on top. Get it? Okay. So 1 point. 2. So we know it has milk mousse in it, but nothing else about the taste. However, I do love mousse. 1 point. Also, side note, I think it's really funny that the cake is called First Love, and the image Ichigo is thinking when she's eating it is of her running through the fields with a blonde guy that could be either Henry or Kashino, because arguably Henry is her first crush, but Kashino is her first love. 3. 1 point, not an assignment. 4. I don't see that shape a lot with real life or fictional desserts, and I think that, combined with the wings and the concept of first love, makes it earn 1 point. 5. This looks like something I'd see at a fancier place, so I would definitely expect to pay more for it, like $9 or $10. Episode 2. Ichigo's improved milk crepe cake. 1. Very plain. The layers are satisfying to look at, but there's nothing else that makes it stand out to me. I would not eat it or have a whole slice unless I had like fruit or something else, so 0 points. 2. Again, looks very plain. Vanilla and Ichigo ate it and enjoyed it, but it's definitely not doing anything interesting with flavor. Half a point. 3. Because this was to improve her failed assignment, she did nail it. And I'll go with the teacher's expectations, which was that they just had to create those layers and do a basic milk crepe cake, which Ichigo successfully did. 1 point. 4. The originality for this is not originality, so 0 points. 5. I would pay $4 maybe. Again, I feel like there's nothing that really makes me go, I want to eat this cake. Episode 3. The Rose Garden Cho Cream. 1. Like Hanabusa, this is a lot. I feel like it goes over the top with the decorations, but the cho themselves... Is it cho or cho cream? I'll be back. Okay, so I looked it up. It's cho a la cream or creme, but I'm just gonna call it... Oh my god, I literally just searched this up and then I forgot what it's called. Wow. Cream puffs, yeah. Because I was like, I've definitely seen those before, but I know them by a different name. So cream puffs, way easier to say. 1. I feel like it goes over the top of the decorations, but the cream puffs themselves aren't that interesting looking. So it feels surface level and more like I would have to pick my way around those decorations to get to the actual dessert. Half a point. 2. Like the milk crepe cake, I imagine this would taste how you'd expect it to, which is pretty basic. Half a point. 3. This was an improvement to the assignment, and again, the teacher did not specify it had to be a unique interpretation. However, okay, wow, my memory, I am 25 and my memory is already like, we have run out of storage. Okay, so, da-da-da. Yes, so this was an improvement to the assignment, and again, the teacher did not specify it had to be a unique interpretation. However, if we're being nitpicky, which I am, the decorations Hanabusa put on that garden detracted from the actual dessert that was supposed to be spotlighted. Imagine if he had helped Ichigo with shaping the actual pastry to look like roses or incorporated floral flavors in. That would have been fitting the assignment and the story of that episode, which was developing this bond between Hanabusa and Ichigo while still going beyond. 4. The decorations do add originality, but again, the cream puffs themselves are not that original, so half a point. 5. I would pay maybe $5 for that cream puff, but for the whole garden, I'm not paying more than $15. Episode 4, Mame Daifuku. 1. Plain but traditional, and the red beans on the outside are cute. Half a point. 2. I imagine it's delicious, and there's something to be said for a classic dessert that's done well. I also like red beans with mochi and find that taste really comforting. 1 point. 3. 1 point, not an assignment. 4. No originality though. 0 points. 5. I would expect to pay maybe $5 for two of these. It does depend on quality, so I would be willing to pay $5 for one if the size is also decent. Matcha red bean roll cake, the OG and present version. So, first of all, this kid was better at baking when he was 7 than I am now. Damn. Second, baby Ando is really cute. 1. I like the vibrancy the matcha gives the roll cake and the contrast it has with the red bean filling. There's also a layer of red bean before the cream layer that's a nice detail and makes it pop. It looks perfectly rolled, and I also like the cream to cake ratio. 2. Looks tasty, but nothing that interesting with the flavors. Red bean and matcha is a classic combo. Half a point. 3. 1 point, non-assignment. 4. Not original. It's been done before in real life, and I've definitely seen that roll cake in other anime. 0 points. 5. $10? Like, it depends on the size, but if I'm just getting it for myself, that's how much I'd be willing to pay. Episode 5, Ando's Matcha on Matcha. 1. I like the layers, and again, matcha just has a great vibrancy to it. However, what the hell are those decorations on the top? Half a point. 2. It looks delicious, and I am a sucker for mousse. Matcha and chocolate is really good together, and I don't think adding red bean to the mix would be bad. 1 point. 3. It fulfills the chocolate assignment, but I don't believe it showcases chocolate the way the teacher would want it to. Half a point. 4. I think it's really funny how much matcha and red bean Ando uses in everything he makes. Like, if I was one of his classmates, I'd be like, bro, you're not even using other Japanese flavors. The flavors aren't that original, especially since I just saw a matcha and red bean cake from Ando in the previous episode. However, I do think matcha mousse is a great idea, and I truly have never seen those kinds of decorations before. So, half a point. 5. Since it's a full cake, I'd expect to pay like $25 to $30 for it. Matcha mousse is really what's winning me over. Hanabusa's raspberry and chocolate cake. 1. This is a really pretty cake, but I'm questioning what that flour is made of. I do think it's edible and it's a candy flour, but those are just really sugary, so that's affecting how much I want to eat that cake. Half a point. 2. Besides raspberry and chocolate, Hanabusa put mascarpone in it, which is interesting. I've never had mascarpone fruits, so I have no idea if it would work, but it does intrigue me. 1 point. 3. I do feel like, again, chocolate is not the star here. If that flower decoration was chocolate, I could understand it, but I can't give a full point when the centerpiece is really that flower. Half a point. 4. I do think the flavor combo of the mascarpone is something I've never seen before personally, and I've also never seen a flower of that size on top of a cake. 1 point. 5. I'd expect to pay the same for this cake as I would for Ando's, maybe a bit more because of the elaborate decoration. Kashino's Opera Cake. This is a beautiful opera cake, and those layers look great. However, I don't love the decorations on top because it seems a bit confused. There's this aqua bowl and yellow spiral or tulle and wings too. I don't really get the concept behind this, and I don't think it looks that pretty altogether on top of that cake. Half a point. 2. We didn't get many details about this cake, so I think we can assume it's a standard opera cake. Opera cake is French, and it uses almond sponge, coffee syrup, ganache, and a chocolate glaze. That sounds delicious to me, and coffee and chocolate is always good. 1 point. 3. Out of all the boys' cakes, this follows the assignment most, in my opinion, because it's showcasing the chocolate in more than one form without any distractions. 4. There's definitely nothing that original about the opera cake in terms of flavor and most of the design, but those decorations are definitely original, so half a point. 5. I would pay the same amount as I would for Hanabusa and Ando's cakes. Devil and Angel Roll Cake. While not as visually impressive as some of the boys' cakes, I do like Ichigo's. I especially like the way the fruit has been placed carefully so it follows that swirl. I also like the outside of the cake. I'm honestly torn on what to rank it in looks, but I'm going to go with 1 point. 2. This cake sounds delicious with the combination of fruits, white chocolate, and bittersweet chocolate. I don't like white chocolate, but with the bittersweet part, I think it would balance out. 1 point. 3. Because Ichigo incorporated more than one kind of chocolate, I feel that she followed the assignment just as much as Kashino. The chocolate is also the star of this roll cake, and the fruit is just there to highlight it. 4. The concept of angel and devil for this roll cake is original, and the mix of white and bittersweet to represent that isn't something that I usually see. 1 point. 5. I would pay slightly less for Ichigo's cake because misogyny. Joking. But because it looks wise, it's just not as impressive as the boys' cakes. I do think because it uses so much fresh fruit, it could warrant a higher price, but I have to be honest and say $20 would be my limit. That took surprisingly less time than I thought it would, but I got really into it when I was ranking these cakes. And I will now, drumroll, tell you the winner of these 5 episodes. So, both First Love and Ichigo's Devil and Angel roll cake are tied for first place because they got full points across the board. However, if I'm going by which one I prefer, it's definitely First Love because I was a bit iffy about giving full points in terms of appearance to the Angel and Devil roll cake, but I did not have those qualms about First Love. So the winner of today's episode is First Love. Congratulations, Henry Lucas, you beat out the cakes done by children. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little ranking, and I will definitely be back, hopefully in the future, to do more of these for the next 5 episodes. I'll see you then, have a wonderful day, and goodbye.